Chapter 1. Sophia Shaw and I were at the marriage registry office, just about to take the final photo for our certificate, when a phone call pulled her away. She left me stranded there, unsure whether to stay or go. I called her. No answer. I texted her. No reply. Finally, I had to find her childhood friend Ethan's number and call that. Sophia answered. "Sincere Grant, can you stop being so annoying? Ethan hurt his leg playing ball. I have to take care of him today. Stop calling and waking him up. We'll just reschedule getting the certificate again." I pressed my lips together, my voice hoarse. "Including this time, we've rescheduled 7 times already. So what? The registry office isn't going anywhere." The clerk asked sympathetically if I still wanted to proceed. I nodded slowly. Yes, definitely. I called my friend's sister, Victoria Linden, and agreed to her proposal. After hanging up, I asked the clerk to hold my spot for a little while. Before I could even process it, Victoria arrived. She rode up on a cool motorcycle. The moment she took off her helmet and walked in, she immediately drew the attention of quite a few people at the registry office. Victoria walked straight up to me and sat down in the chair beside me, crossing her legs elegantly. She grinned at me. "Change your mind? Ready to agree to this fake marriage to deal with our family issues?" I gave a slight nod. It wasn't just about dealing with family pressure to marry. The most important reason for getting married now was to give my grandfather peace of mind before he passed away. 6 months ago, my grandfather Arthur's health took a sharp decline. He was living in the hospital, and every time he saw me, he'd nag about when I was getting married. He wanted to see me in a groom's suit. He wanted to see me walk down the aisle. He said that way, even if he was gone, there would still be someone to love and care for me. That's why I started pushing Sophia to get married 6 months ago. We'd come to the registry office 7 times, off and on, but every single attempt failed for one reason or another. The last time, Ethan Bellwether had a migraine so bad she had to go back and make sure he took his medicine. The time before that, Ethan lost his keys and couldn't get home, so she had to go let him in. The time before that, Ethan was hungry and craving a specific dish from across town, so she had to rush off to stand in line for it. All 7 times, it was because of Ethan Bellwether. Every time, Sophia would abandon me without a second thought for him. The irony was, I gave her 7 chances. She wouldn't even spare me the few minutes it took to take one photo. Honestly, when Sophia left this time, I wasn't overwhelmingly sad. Perhaps I was used to it, or maybe I'd expected it. But my grandfather's words from a little while ago suddenly echoed in my mind. Sincere. Grandfather is afraid he doesn't have much time left. I might not get to see my Sincere in a groom's suit, but even if you're alone in the future, you have to live bravely. Don't let anyone bully you. I promised Grandfather I would be brave. So this time, I wouldn't compromise anymore. Sophia Shaw, I gave you chances, 7 of them getting the certificate with Victoria Linden, went smoothly through the initial steps. Just as Victoria and I were about to take the marriage photo, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Sophia. "All right, Sincere, don't be mad. I really couldn't get away this time, but I've already made your favorite food at home. Waiting for you." Victoria glanced over at my phone, asking casually, "Still want to go through with this?" I took a deep breath, my face expressionless. Yes. We completed the marriage registration and walked out of the registry office with our certificates. Before leaving, I turned to Victoria. "Are you free tomorrow? There's something I need your help with." Victoria swung her long legs over her motorcycle. "Call me if you need anything. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of days my parents will need you to put on a show for them." With that, she rode off. I felt the unpredictability of life keenly. My relationship with Sophia Shaw, spanning 4 years of college and 3 years after graduation, ultimately couldn't reach the finish line. Yet I had just married my friend's sister, a woman I'd only met once before, on the way back. Sophia texted me again, this time with a picture. A dining table laden with delicious-looking dishes. "Why aren't you back yet?" "Dinner's ready." If you're late, it'll be all gone. Chapter. She wasn't kidding. Just moments after texting that the food would be gone if I was late, I arrived home to find the dining table a total mess. The dishes were picked clean. Beside the table, Ethan Bellwether put on an innocent, pitiful expression. "I'm so sorry, Sincere. I was just too hungry, so I couldn't help starting without you." Even if I were slow, I could tell he was provoking me. In that instant, I felt my blood boil. My hands clenched into fists, nails digging deep into my palms. Ethan and Sophia were childhood friends, so in Sophia's eyes, he always took priority. Initially, Sophia and I had a smooth relationship, getting to know each other, falling in love. We rarely argued, because regardless of whether it was my fault, she would always take responsibility first. Even my friend Leo had often envied me for finding a woman like Sophia who doted on me so much. But that envy ended 6 months ago. Ever since Ethan Bellwether appeared, her affection shifted entirely to him. "Sincere, why are you back so late? Didn't I tell you earlier?" Sophia came out of the kitchen, frowning the moment she saw me. In her mind, whenever she messaged me, I'd rush back immediately. Something held me up on the way. I got back late. "What could possibly be so important that you'd miss dinner?" Her tone was flat but held an undercurrent of accusation. I wasn't planning on telling her about the marriage. Since I had decided to leave, Sophia Shaw was now just a stranger in my eyes. I had mainly come back this time for my luggage. Nothing important. The company needs me to go on a business trip. I came back to pack. Without waiting for her reaction, I walked straight towards the bedroom. But as soon as I opened the bedroom door, I froze at the sight before me. The bed, which I had made neatly before leaving, was now messy. The wardrobe had been rummaged through carelessly. I could ignore all that. But on the bedside table, the hand-assembled model building my grandfather Arthur had given me was snapped in the middle. Scattered pieces littered the floor. I couldn't hold back anymore and called out her name directly. "Who was in this bedroom? Who knocked over my things?" Sophia walked in, frowned initially, then quickly smoothed her expression. She spoke with utter indifference. "It's just a model. I'll find someone to put it back together for you later." I was stunned for a moment. That indifferent tone sounded exactly like she was saying I meant nothing to her. And because of that statement, I knew Ethan must have been the one who broke it. Only he warranted such unwavering protection from Sophia. And Ethan broke it, didn't he? My calm statement seemed to ignite Sophia's fuse. Her eyebrows shot up and she immediately questioned me. "And do you have any proof Ethan broke it? Maybe it wasn't assembled properly and just fell over on its own." And Sincere Grant. Don't just accuse people without thinking before you blame Ethan. You'd better have evidence, or I'll sue you for slander. I nearly bit through the inside of my cheek. The thick taste of blood filled my mouth. She really knew how to defend him. Just one sentence from me, and I was accused of slander. But the Sophia from 6 months ago wasn't like this. The day I truly fell for her was on a rainy night. I'd been in a car accident. She ran all the way to the scene without even an umbrella. That day, this usually proper and reserved woman dropped all decorum for me, shouting on the roadside, even getting into a scuffle with the driver who hit my car. Why had she changed so much now? Chapter 3. I didn't pursue the argument further. Like Sophia said, I had no proof it was Ethan who broke it. I could only crouch down carefully, gathering the scattered pieces, picking up the 2 broken halves of the model building. Just then, Ethan's pitiful voice came from the doorway. He limped into the room. "Unsincere, please don't fight with Sophia. And even though I didn't do it, if you want to blame me, just blame me. Nobody's ever liked me since I was little. It's normal for you not to like me either." As he spoke, he deliberately took a few steps and crouched down in front of me. He stepped on one of the fragments, grinding it with his foot. Simultaneously, he whispered in a very low voice, "Yeah, I did it. So what?" Rage surged through me and I shoved Ethan away. But before I even made contact, he tumbled convincingly to the floor. His foot, wrapped in white gauze, hit the bedside table with pinpoint accuracy. The next second, Ethan burst into tears. Sincere, I was just trying to help. Before I could react, Sophia grabbed my hair forcefully. It was a look I had never seen on her before. Her face was contorted with rage, her eyes sharp, looking like she wanted to kill me. Even if you don't like Ethan, you don't have to hurt him like this, and he's injured right now. With Sophia yanking my hair, I was forced to look up at them. A bitter taste spread from the tip of my tongue, my heart feeling riddled with holes. I didn't even touch him. Sophia slapped me hard across the face. A bright red handprint instantly appeared on my cheek. Still lying? Sincere Grant, do you think I'm blind? I was right behind you, I saw it myself. Then first you frame Ethan, now you push him down. I never knew you were such a ruthless, vicious man. You're downright malicious. My breath caught in my throat. I couldn't utter a word in rebuttal. In this situation, whatever I said, Sophia wouldn't believe me anyway. She let go of me, looking down at me coldly. Can't find an excuse, can you? Sincere Grant, you're disgusting. Sophia looked at me with disappointment, but I felt like a weight had been lifted. If I had held on to any last shred of hope for her before, it was finally gone now. I stopped trying to defend myself, stopped struggling to explain. Ethan, now cradled in Sophia's arms, shot me a triumphant look and mouthed a sentence. I understood it clearly. You think you're worthy of competing with me for Sophia? If you like her so much, you can have her. Because Ethan's injured ankle had just been knocked, Sophia anxiously carried him off to the hospital. I shakily got to my feet. The full-length mirror reflected my face, my cheek burning red. The slap mark was still clearly visible. It showed just how furious Sophia had been, how much force she had used. I couldn't help a bitter smile, reaching up to wipe away the blood slowly seeping from the corner of my mouth. That slap shattered any remaining illusions I had. Taking the opportunity, I gathered all my clothes and belongings, packing them into my suitcase. Whatever I could take, I took. What I couldn't, I threw into the trash. Before leaving, I contacted a real estate agent and listed the apartment online. This apartment was mine, bought for me by my grandfather with his pension savings. It was meant to be our marital home. Now it seemed pointless to keep it. It felt tainted. I found it disgusting. Chapter 4. I pushed my suitcase to a hotel for the night. From now on, I planned to spend all my time accompanying my grandfather through his final days. Early the next morning, I called Victoria Linden. She sounded like she hadn't woken up yet, her voice groggy. It took several calls from me, plus another call to my friend Leo asking him to make sure she got up, before she finally dragged herself out of bed. On the way to the hospital, Victoria and I rehearsed a story for Grandfather. Since I had previously introduced Sophia to Grandfather, he knew she was the one I intended to marry. To avoid worrying him, I planned to have Victoria pretend to be Sophia, ensuring she didn't reveal her true identity. But I didn't expect her and Grandfather to hit it off so well. They chatted about everything, from the hardships of his generation to modern artificial intelligence. Even when it was time to leave, Grandfather seemed reluctant to let her go. He held my hand, gently patting the back of it. Sincere, this one's good. Much more reliable than that Shaw girl. I felt a bit awkward, not wanting Grandfather to know I had just grabbed someone random to marry. So I had to bite the bullet and say, Grandfather, you must be mistaken. This is Sophia Shaw. When your grandfather isn't senile yet, I know if it's the same person or not. Grandfather just doesn't know if he can hold on until your wedding banquet. I quickly pulled out the marriage certificate and handed it to Grandfather. Don't worry, Grandfather. We're already married. The wedding reception is being planned. You'll definitely be there. Unexpectedly, Grandfather opened the certificate, examined it closely with a magnifying glass, back and forth. Finally, he nodded with satisfaction. See, I told you it wasn't that Shaw girl. Her name is Victoria Linden, right? That's a good name. I gave grandfather a slightly exasperated look before leaving the room. Victoria was waiting for me in the hallway. She looked like she had been arguing with someone. As I got closer, I realized the people she was arguing with were Sophia Shaw and Ethan Bellwether. I didn't know what started it, but one sentence from Sophia made my throat tighten, leaving me breathless for a moment. Whatever my boyfriend did wrong, I apologize on his behalf. But do you have any shame picking on an injured person? In her mind, Ethan was her boyfriend. Then what was I? A replacement? If you do something wrong, you own up to it. If everyone acted like you, what would be the point of laws? Being injured isn't an excuse to misbehave. Sophia and Ethan were rendered speechless by Victoria's retort. Just as I arrived, Sophia spotted me. A flicker of panic and unease crossed her eyes, but she quickly suppressed it, acting as if nothing was wrong, rushing over to grab my arm and speaking first. "Sincere, you're just in time. Ethan accidentally spilled coffee on her just now, and she's claiming this dress costs over $10,000. Isn't that extortion? Don't you have a friend who's a lawyer? Let's sue her for blackmail." Ethan nodded readily, showing no sign of remorse. "Exactly, sue her for blackmail, and make her pay us for emotional distress." Victoria looked at me with an amused smile. I couldn't help but blush. "Your friend?" I immediately shook my head. "Not anymore." Before Sophia could react, I continued. "Her dress really is worth thousands." "And the lawyer friend you mentioned? That's her brother." With that, I quickly walked away from the hospital, having no desire for further interaction with Sophia. How they resolved their dispute was none of my concern. In the following days, Victoria was busy arranging our wedding banquet. I had initially thought we could just have a simple ceremony, maybe just me wearing a groom's suit for grandfather to see, and that would be it. But Victoria insisted that wouldn't match her style and wanted to make it a bigger event. I knew families like hers had high standards, and since I couldn't persuade her otherwise, I had to compromise. Meanwhile, Sophia kept asking me daily when I would be back from my business trip. Perhaps she sensed that I was contacting her less and less frequently. For the first time, she suggested she had picked a date and wanted to schedule our trip to the registry office. Unfortunately, I no longer needed it. Each time she called, I used the excuse of being busy with work on the trip and hung up. The wedding day arrived quickly. I was dressed in my groom's suit, standing at the banquet venue. A familiar voice came from behind me. The tone was surprise, laced with a hint of panic. "Sincere? Weren't you on a business trip? Why are you here in a wedding suit?" Chapter 5. Victoria walked up beside me. "Isn't that the woman from the hospital the other day? Want to go down and have a chat?" I glanced at her coolly. I knew, with her sharp mind, she had already figured out the relationship between Sophia and me. "If you want a show, you can have one now." Sophia rushed towards me, pointing an accusing finger, her voice trembling with rage. "Sincere Grant, I know it's you. Don't pretend you don't know me. What is the meaning of this? Stringing me along as my boyfriend, then pretending not to know me while marrying another woman? Did you ever really consider me your girlfriend?" I looked at her calmly. If this were the past, I probably would have shed this groom's suit and pulled her into my arms. But now, I was frighteningly composed. "Stringing you along? Sophia Shaw, you really have the nerve to say that? Since and I gave you 7 chances. If you had taken just one of them, would I be marrying another woman today? Well, since you didn't want to marry me, since you chose to spend time with your childhood friend every time we were supposed to get our certificate. Well, I'm granting your wish. Now you can spend every day and night with him. And I'm not pretending I don't know you. I simply don't want to know you anymore." Just seeing Sophia reminded me of my absurd 7 years. 7 years of companionship, and in the end, she wouldn't even spare me a few minutes of her time. Sophia tried to say something else, but the security guards, called over by Victoria, grabbed her and dragged her out. She kept screaming my name, babbling something incoherent about being willing to marry me now. Victoria clicked her tongue. Didn't realize you had such a sharp tongue. That quick-fire response left your ex-girlfriend speechless. I shot her a cold glance. Right now, the thought of anyone linking me and Sophia together again was incredibly irritating with the disruption gone. My wedding with Victoria continued. Grandfather couldn't attend due to his health, but Leo connected a high-definition video call on a laptop. He showed Grandfather every moment of the wedding ceremony. But Grandfather's condition was deteriorating rapidly before the wedding reception was even fully over. Still in my groom's suit, I rushed straight to the hospital. The hospital had just called, saying Grandfather might not make it. Holding on to witness my wedding was what had kept him going. Now that his final wish was fulfilled, his breathing was growing weaker. I ran all the way. Just as I reached the hospital entrance, Sophia blocked my path. Her eyes were red as she grabbed my wrist. "Sincere, you can't marry that woman. It's obvious she's not a good person. I'm the only one who loves you all these years we've been together. Surely you can feel it? Let go, I have something urgent right now. We can talk about our issues later." I tried forcefully to shake her off. But Sophia kept reaching out with her other hand, clinging to me, repeating the same pleas for forgiveness over and over. Fortunately, Victoria arrived just in time and managed to block Sophia. Leo held the elevator for me, and I rushed up to the 3rd floor, but I was still a step too late. Grandfather was already covered by a white sheet, no longer breathing. The doctor shook his head at me. "You're too late, sir, but your grandfather was very happy before he passed. As doctors, we rarely see patients like your grandfather die smiling." So, I didn't get to see Grandfather one last time. Numbly, I touched Grandfather's already cold hand. Leo clapped my shoulder firmly, comforting me softly. "Sincere, don't be sad. You helped him fulfill his final wish. The doctor said Grandfather was very happy before he left." I wiped away the tears welling up in my eyes, reached out, and gently touched Grandfather's face through the white sheet. Yes, Grandfather must have been very happy. Chapter 6. At Grandfather's funeral. It was raining lightly that day. Victoria was arranging for the interment of Grandfather's ashes. "Sincere, don't be so sad. I don't think Grandfather would want to see you like this. Enjoy your wedding before he passed." "He must have been very happy." I nodded. "Grandfather must have been happy. He left without regrets. Even the wife I found on short notice met with Grandfather's approval." Thinking this, I looked up at Victoria, who was shaking raindrops from her hair after scattering the last handful of earth. It would be impossible not to feel touched. Thanks to her and her brother Leo for being with me during this final difficult time. "Miss Linden, thank you for helping me fulfill my grandfather's last wish. We can go get the divorce process tomorrow." Victoria brushed a few lingering raindrops from her hair and said casually, "What's the rush? Your business is finished, but mine isn't yet. Let's leave things as they are for now. I'll contact you in a few days." She walked off right after saying that. I looked at Leo with some surprise. Leo's eyes darted around nervously, and he quickly changed the subject. "My sister's being pressured to get married, right? And she can't find anyone. So Sincere, just help her out for now. Put on a show for my parents." I felt like something wasn't quite right, but I couldn't put my finger on it at that moment. Still, Victoria had helped me immensely, and I couldn't just burn that bridge now. Coming down from the cemetery hill, Sophia was waiting for me at the bottom. She held a bouquet of chrysanthemums, her hair messy, clearly not having taken care of herself for a while. "Sincere, where is Grandfather buried? I should pay my respects too." Although I really didn't want to talk to her since it concerned Grandfather, I could only refuse politely. "Thank you, Miss Shaw, but there's no need. Given your relationship with my grandfather, paying respects isn't necessary." Sophia suddenly burst into tears, her red eyes filled with bloodshot veins. She apologized to me. She claimed she had no idea about Grandfather's condition that day. She said she loved me too deeply, only wanted to win me back, and that's why she had stopped me in the hospital lobby. "Sincere, forgive me. We'll get married this time for sure. Grandfather's spirit in heaven will surely bless us. Look, I accompanied you to see grandfather several times before. Your grandfather liked me too. But now that grandfather is gone, let me be the one to protect you. I didn't know when she had developed such thick skin. The Sophia I remembered, while not overly proud, certainly had a backbone. Now she mostly just made me feel nauseated. Just as I was about to speak, a black car pulled up beside us. Victoria pushed open the door, got out, and threw herself into my arms. My husband doesn't need you to protect him. Besides, grandfather didn't like you. He liked me. She acted exactly like someone possessive and jealous, staking her claim. Sophia's face twisted with anger. Her eyes were fixed fiercely on the hand Victoria had wrapped around my arm. Sincere, rich people like them are just playing games, don't let her fool you. Then she put on an expression of profound affection. I'm different. We were together for 7 years, went through so much together. You've long been irreplaceable in my heart. No matter what happens to you, I'll always love you the most. If she hadn't said anything, it might have been better. Her words almost made me gag with revulsion. Recalling the image of her grabbing my hair without hesitation that day, my scalp tingled unpleasantly. I replied with a sneer. Loving me means hurting me without hesitation? Loving me means slapping me hard across the face? Sophia Shaw, your love is terrifying. I don't dare accept it anymore. This cold, sarcastic remark finally made Sophia's face change. The memory of her actions seemed to surface. She subconsciously stepped back 2 steps, stumbling and almost falling. I found it somewhat amusing. Does she have selective amnesia? Does she need me to remind her of what she did? Otherwise, how could she still dare to say such shameless things? One last thing. I'm selling the apartment. Please move out with Ethan Bellwether immediately. Otherwise, I'll call the police and handle it officially. Sophia stared blankly for a moment, then looked at me with disbelief. You're selling the apartment? I don't agree. That's our marital home. If you sell it, where will I live? Where you live is none of my business. You're just a stranger to me now. I hope you have some self-awareness and move out soon so I don't have to call the police and make things ugly. Without waiting for another word, I got into Victoria's car and left. Sophia chased after the car, roaring unwillingly. Sincere, we can get married, you can't kick me out. On the drive back, the woman driving had a very grim expression. I didn't know what she was angry about. Exhausted after so many draining days, I leaned back against the seat and fell asleep. Chapter 7. I woke up in a small apartment. Since Sophia and Ethan were still living in my old place and staying in hotels indefinitely wasn't practical, Leo had arranged for me to stay in this apartment belonging to Victoria. All my luggage had been moved here too. Leo was sitting on the sofa not far from me, laptop open, furiously pounding the keyboard, looking angry about whatever he was replying to online. Leo, what are you doing? My voice startled him. He quickly shut the laptop and said to me, "Oh, nothing, just watching some shows online, leaving comments." I gave him a suspicious look but didn't dwell on it. However, over the next few days I noticed something strange. Whenever I went out, many people would point at me and whisper among themselves. Eventually, my boss called me in for a talk at work, subtly hinting about the situation. After leaving his office, I searched online and finally understood what was happening. Someone was slandering me online. One look at the account, and I guessed it was Sophia's. The profile picture was of a high-end dress, face not shown, but I had bought Sophia that dress as a birthday gift. I could roughly guess the cause of this. Likely Sophia was bitter about being kicked out and chose to create a narrative online, portraying herself as the weak victim. She claimed I looked down on the poor and favored the rich, that our 7 years of love meant nothing compared to the allure of wealth from a rich family. According to her story, I not only dumped her but immediately married someone rich, stole the marital home she bought, and was now kicking her out. Soon, a wave of online hate targeted me. On my way home, several people recognized me and started discussing it loudly. Looks like it's that guy. 7-year relationship just threw her away like that. So heartless. Well, rich people are better, obviously. Love feeds the soul, but not the wallet. I'd choose the rich one, too. And scumbag, he's the textbook example of a scumbag. Men like him ruin society. Suddenly, a black cashmere coat was draped over my shoulders. Victoria's usually cool face was now frosty, radiating cold anger. She turned to the gossiping crowd and snapped without hesitation. "What business is it of yours? Slander is illegal. Say one more word, and I'll have my lawyer send you a cease and desist letter." The murmuring crowd immediately dispersed. Under Victoria's protection, I returned to the apartment. Before we even opened the door, I could hear Leo inside cursing while furiously typing away. These keyboard warriors only brave online. If they have guts, let them face me offline. Only when he saw me return did Leo close his laptop, pretending nothing had happened. I found it slightly amusing, but also touching. "Stop pretending. I know everything." "What, you know?" Leo paused and slapped my shoulder firmly, offering comfort. "It must be Sophia causing trouble. She's just jealous you married my sister, so now she wants to ruin you." I wasn't as fragile as he thought, but his support warmed my heart. Regarding this matter, although I knew Sophia was behind it, I wasn't sure how to resolve it immediately. Just one attempt to explain online was met with thousands of attacking comments. Later, my company put me on leave, giving me a week to handle the situation and calm things down. Sophia's call came soon after. "Been sincere. You regret it now, don't you? Just come back to me and we can be happy together like before. Sonny won't mind that you got married. If you come back, I'll immediately go online and announce that you've seen the error of your ways and come back to your senses." I felt goosebumps rise all over my body from disgust. "But I mind that you're a despicable scum woman. I gave you 7 chances to get married. You didn't cherish them. Since you love being with your childhood friends so much, I granted your wish. Sophia Shaw, just wait to be thrown out of that apartment." After hanging up, the online situation escalated further. An edited version of our phone call, with crucial parts cut out, appeared online. In response, I uploaded the entire recording. Soon, public opinion began to polarize. Some supported me, while others supported Sophia. During this time, Sophia sent me angry messages, furious that I had recorded the call. I wasn't stupid. I knew her call wouldn't come with good intentions, but I never expected Victoria to step directly into the fray for me. Chapter. Sophia had carefully avoided mentioning Victoria's name online, likely afraid of the consequences if Victoria got involved. Victoria directly posted 10 photos online. They started from my high school days and went all the way up to our recent wedding photo. The caption read, "A secret love of 10 years finally fulfilled." Then, she publicly revealed the story of Sophia standing me up 7 times at the registry, even providing security footage from the registry office for each occasion. Each video showed Sophia heartlessly abandoning me alone at the marriage registry. The online narrative flipped instantly. What kind of weirdo woman is this? The guy gave her 7 chances to get the certificate, and she's the one who ran off each time. Damn, if it were me, forget 7 times. The first time would have been goodbye. The guy is like my ideal partner, so devoted, too bad he met a scum woman. Soon, someone else leaked the video from the hospital incident. It showed Sophia with her arm around Ethan, openly referring to him as "Bemi, my boyfriend." Before the next day dawned, Sophia's social media platform exploded. A flood of commenting her as a scum woman filled her feed. The evening the situation was resolved, I invited Leo and Victoria to have dinner at the apartment. When I asked how she got those 10 photos spanning 10 years, Victoria paused noticeably. Before she could speak, I quickly realized and looked at Leo. "And you must have given them to her, right? I remember the first photo was taken not long after we met, at school." After that day, Life gradually returned to normal. The real estate agent quickly found a suitable buyer for my apartment. However, an issue arose during the viewing. "Mr. Grant, perhaps you should resolve your personal matters first. This Miss Shaw is adamantly refusing to let the clients view the property, claiming it's her apartment. I didn't say much, just asked the agent to give me one day. That same day, I reported the situation to the police, explaining the circumstances. When I arrived at the apartment building, I saw Sophia being escorted out by police officers. Seeing me, she put on a wronged expression, her voice thick with tears. "Sincere, can you really be so heartless? This was supposed to be our marital home. If you sell it, where will we live?" Ethan was soon brought out as well, along with their suitcases. It was almost comical. Over all these years, very few of the belongings were actually Sophia's. Most things, like clothes, the computer, the phone, I had bought them for her. In that moment, I think I finally understood the role I had played for the past 7 years. Where you live, I don't know. I've cleared out your things. Check them yourself now. Don't come saying something is missing later. I won't acknowledge it. As soon as I finish speaking, Sophia immediately demanded, "And you haven't given me my computer and phone." I casually called over a second-hand electronics recycler I had arranged to meet there and sold both items on the spot. "I bought these. How did they become your things? And still have the payment receipts on my phone. What proof do you have that these belong to you?" Her eyes widened instantly. This move was clearly beyond anything she had imagined, but I was merely giving her a taste of her own medicine. If she hadn't caused such a huge mess for me online, I wouldn't have thought of being so ruthless. After Sophia and Ethan were removed, I called the agent and also contacted a locksmith company to change the door locks. The buyers were straightforward. They saw the apartment and immediately paid the deposit. Leaving the residential complex, I saw Sophia and Ethan on the roadside, looking distressed. Ethan was whining about where they would stay tonight. When Sophia saw me, she immediately rushed over and grabbed the corner of my shirt. "Sincere, you can't do this to me after all our years together. How can you just end things like this?" I looked at her coldly. "Your childhood friend is right here. You should probably keep your distance from me. What if he causes some trouble again, and you end up blaming me?" With that, I forcefully shook her hand off. Sophia, unwilling to give up, started to chase after me, but just then, a motorcycle zipped past, narrowly missing her. Startled, she plopped down onto the ground. Victoria tossed me a helmet. "Finished? Let's go." That evening, I was taken to the Linden family home for dinner. Victoria said her parents wanted to meet me. Honestly, I felt quite awkward. I had heard that wealthy families often had many rules and etiquette. She seemed to read my mind and suddenly grasped my hand. Her warm palm seemed to warm my heart. The dinner turned out to be unexpectedly relaxed. Her mother seemed very pleased with me. Even Leo grumbled jokingly that his mom liked me better than him now. After dinner, Victoria took me to her room. I then noticed that the largest poster in the entire room bore a striking resemblance to me. When I foolishly asked who the person was, Victoria pulled out a stack of photo albums. Opening them, it was like looking back at my own life over the past 10 years. The very last photo was the one of us at the marriage registry office. "So, these are all of me?" Victoria looked at me with a resigned nod. Who else would it be? So without my knowledge, she had been secretly in love with me for 10 years. Later, I learned from Leo. That time she suggested the fake marriage, seemingly just to handle family pressure, was actually the culmination of her carefully laid plans, a wish she had harbored and schemed for a very long time, finally coming true